What's going on? This is Alex Wilder. Thanks for watching Wild with Wilder. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We recently had the AMA with the VEVE team. Now, whenever one of these AMAs or Ask Me Anything conversations happen on the Twitter Spaces, they're fascinating. They're a great place for people in the community to get some concerns off their chest. In this instance, though, the VEVE Collectibles team talk specifically about the botting situation. So let me give you my 2 cents on the different feedback, what I took away from the AMA, along with a couple of other interesting things that they touched upon regarding VEVE going forward. So I am Alex Wilder. This is Wild with Wilder. Let's go. Now, before we get started, today's video is sponsored by me. My Etsy store, the Refined Otaku Shop, is up and we are ready to go for springtime, for summer. We have some brand new, fantastic anime bathing suits, anime hats, crypto t-shirts, and the list goes on from intimates to regular casual styling to dresses. The Refined Otaku Shop is here and we're ready to go. Definitely hop in, definitely get yourself right for the upcoming spring and summer season, and support your boy, because I did a lot of the design work for a lot of these great t-shirts and I have a lot of fun doing it. So if you just want to support us, hop in, get something from the HE line, and just enjoy your time here with us today. So I figured we'd just go ahead and start with the VEVE article. When this hit on February 4th, they posted a very lengthy description of what tends to be going on in the VEVE app from their perspectives. Now, they're the development team, so they're going to have insights that you and I don't have. Not to say that whatever us as individuals are experiencing is invalid, but there's probably a little bit more truth to some of their stuff just by default because they have more details. And I think they're, for the most part, a very trustworthy group. I haven't heard much bad or negative about anyone on the team. Everyone seems very positive. It's not the vibe that you get with some of the projects and some of the other NFT spaces where there's a lot of rugs going on. And Solana especially is having a lot of issues with projects kind of being rugged that they are personally minting on their site. So you don't get that with VEVE. Let's go into it because this seems to be the main concern that people have. So I think it's great that they addressed it. So there's 1.9 million active users in the VEVE app. That's insane. The app's not even been around for a full year, I don't think. Maybe March or April, whenever they started last year. That'll be 1 year time around. And with that, that comes problems. So they really broke down the terms of service, how they want everyone to really know what you can and can't do on the app. Some of the strategies that people have come up with are not to be messed with. If you're using the massage gun strategy where it makes you press the button super, super fast, not allowed. Anything that is inhuman, that makes it seem as if you're a bot or a robot, is just not allowed in the VEVE space. So looking right up here, to date, more than 300,000 accounts in total have been disabled for botting or similar activities. That is a ton of accounts. That's a ton. Now, there has been a lot of concerns because some people had their accounts banned incorrectly. So it's what they call the false positive, where maybe they traded something between them and their kid or their family member 2 or 3 times, or it just because of how they have their auto flagging system is set up, it happens to catch some people who just something happens that's a little bit different. I heard someone on the space that they had left their phone on all day right before the drop happened and they missed it. And then later on that day, when they looked at their phone, the buy now button was still there. They pressed it and they got the red flag. Your account has been disabled because it's happened to be abnormal activity. But they worked with them and they were able to get their accounts corrected for the most part. There's still a few people with issues, to be fair. But it seems like there is a good, genuine focus regarding it. So I highly recommend that you guys scroll and actually read through this article if you're having any issue with bots, any issue with what you would consider a red flag. I did like the fact that he really wanted to emphasize that we shouldn't be actively trying to find bots ourselves and actively reporting people just because of something that we think might be considered a bot. Like somebody, the same account, selling the same item, and they happen to have 10 of them. That's pretty consistent with some people who happen to stack and want to sell everything at the same time. But if that's the case, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bot. Maybe they're trying to free up some liquidity. So you have to think about things like that. And I think they did a really fantastic job at expressing what it is that they're trying to get us to kind of understand and comprehend. They also have this help, I hope I'm pointing in the right direction, help.veve.me. So you can create an open ticket, which they're still kind of working through. They have a lot. And I think too, with the explosive nature of the app, they didn't really expect most of their attention to be focused on countermeasures to people that are trying to infiltrate, but that's part of the game. So I thought that they handled it well. If you really want to dig deeper, you know, they go into their explanation of some other reasons of why it's difficult to land a drop other than just blaming bots. I'm kind of with that. There's just a ton of people. There are bots, so that is true, but there are a lot of people too. So the odds get lower and lower, but it is possible. I've hit a couple of drops, having been in here almost 2 months. Oh, I got 2 of the Kraven the Hunter comics for the Spider-Man, or that Kraven the Hunter run throughout the 2 or 3 different Spider-Man comics. And one was instant, and one was on a pretty late rebound, like maybe 6 or 8 minutes, something like that. Yeah, something like that. 8 minutes, I think. So it's definitely feasible. It's definitely possible, but not as probable as we would like because more and more people are showing up, more people, you know, more congestion, etc. So we'll definitely put the link to this article in my description. Let's kind of keep it moving because there's a lot more stuff that I want to get into in relation to the AMA because they kind of talked about a few other things. What I thought was cool is they talked about the drop that happened this morning, the Pili Fantasy. Now, I did a previous video kind of walking through my impression of the Pili Fantasy, what I thought it could mean. Definitely check the Road to Bluetooth, the Blue Chip playlist that I have and put that in. In addition to that, you can see that in the AMA, what I thought was very, very cool was he hinted that they are really trying to get into the anime space. So we're talking about Japanese animation. We're talking about anime. We're talking about that type of energy. That is a whole IP subset where there is humongous fan bases. So this piqued my interest for a lot of reasons. It was part of it is just his tone, where he was kind of like, oh yeah, this is just our first step into the anime space. This and it's interesting because the Pili Fantasy characters, from my perspective, the first time I saw them, they didn't register as anime or anime related really in any type of way. What they came across as was this kind of puppet show thing. But you can kind of see with the chibi style that they put into the images. And let me see if I can kind of click on a few of these. He even said in the AMA, this is a chibi style. So I know they're about that life if they're using that terminology. So you see the chibi style, for those of you who aren't anime fans, it just means you have like the shorter, smaller characters, larger heads, bigger eyes, that kind of has more of like that kind of adorable style that makes them more fun, and you can make scenarios that are more playful. And a lot of times artists, what they'll do is if they do like random sketch work of their characters, they'll do a chibi version because it's just like a cultural thing, but it's also kind of fun to see these intense characters, sometimes intense, sometimes mature, come across in this more playful, younger style manner. Like it's literally like the opposite of the Rugrats, how they had Rugrats cartoon and then they had Rugrats grown up. It's the opposite of that. Think of it like that. And yeah, and you can kind of see with the different figurines when they kind of came in and came across how they had that chibi look, they had that style, they had that feel to them. So these in particular, they don't look as much like puppets as they look like anime characters. I think I might need to like really focus on this one. So this guy is the rare. I'm not going to try to pronounce any of the names. I'm going to really screw them up. But he looks like he could fit in a Final Fantasy story. He looks like Sephiroth's cousin. He has two, like, they almost look like they can actually fit in Final Fantasy 9, where they kind of had that chibi style art for the different characters. So it's very interesting to me. Now, what if this is going to be one of those drops, because he was really laying those hints in, one of those drops that like almost by a technicality is going to be considered, this is going to be considered the first anime drop on VEVE. Even though it's not really, it's a puppet show. It's Taiwanese, I believe. And they have it airs on Netflix. It's apparently very popular. But I'm looking at this ultra rare, and this is clearly an anime version of it. Are they going to actually have an anime version of this? I don't know. But what if this is actually considered the first anime on VEVE? Voltron might be, but there's something here going on. They're tying it in with regular anime. So this also makes me think that there's an actual, plan in place for the roadmap to get to the anime space. Now, I'm big in the anime space. I really, really want there to be some type of attachment within VEVE. So I just wanted to point out too, this is the article on Medium just about the collection. Definitely give it a glance. It was crazy. On this drop, I got the buy now button grayed out after I hit it one time. That's happened to me one other time. And they had said that sometimes, like maybe you hit it too fast, the thing thinks you're a robot, and so it grays out the button and puts it as sold out. So I did have my one button press of trying to actually get the drop. I don't even think it was a good press. I think I was a little slow because the button kind of appeared above here a little bit, and I hit here-ish, and I think I had hit there and moved up. So I lost like a couple of milliseconds. So it wasn't my best hit. That said, I got locked out. I wasn't able to do any of the rebounds or anything like that. So I hope some of you guys got some W's out there, because I think there's something here. Some people had chatted about how there's other collections within the whole VEVE space that people were like, oh, I'm not about that in the beginning, that shot to the moon, as we've seen a couple of times. And for myself, I'm on the road to blue chips, so I can't ignore anything that might really be considered a potential like something. So let's kind of keep it rocking. So how do we then get from there to here? Because this is what I feel when I feel anime, the whole Shonen Jump thing, Luffy, the magazine, Weekly Shonen Jump, My Hero Academia. This is what I feel when I think anime. It's just it's your go-to. The latest Shonen Jump stuff, Hunter x Hunter, there is a very specific vibe and energy that comes with the anime space. So the fans know when something feels like anime and when something doesn't. They know. And to kind of jump back a little bit, these figurines feel like anime. And maybe it's because they're from Taiwan. But just like the design of the actual face, the design features, they look like those old school classic Shogun style. There's probably War of the Roses manga from way back in the day, and that's what kind of this feels like. So this could be the bridge into anime NFTs in the VEVE space, especially because anime has figures. They already have figurines ready to go. Just like comic book space, the figurines are unlocked. They have them from different IPs, and they're big time money-making collectibles. So they can scan these, which is what I'm assuming they're doing with a lot of the DC figurines, scanning them, making 3D mock-ups, and then just 100% bring them into the space. But can you imagine these beloved characters as VEVE collectibles? The first major character is going to moon and go completely to the top. It's going to be kind of nuts. And then that just makes us wonder, okay, well, if they can do this, when can they bring Pokemon? Because we know Pokemon has figurines. We know Pokemon is a collection that everybody wants. I just have a hard time believing Pokemon is going to partner with yet another developer. I want them to so bad. I just know how insular they are. They like to do things their way, their own time. Historically speaking, they could have had a 3D Pokemon game years back, but that wasn't specifically what they wanted to do with their vision, what they feel like their company outlook is supposed to be. So there's definitely this desire for Pokemon. I don't know if it's really coming, but if we get the Pokemon figurines, VEVE is really going to increase in popularity. And that's going to be a huge, huge increase to the market share. But they could also do like trading cards. People have talked about that a little bit too. They created the lenticular cards for Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto. And they could totally do something like that for Pokemon because it has the card game built in. I think that Pokemon cards, in a lot of ways, more people collected them as collectibles as opposed to playing the game. And that could be to their benefit in the VEVE space versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I see more people playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Game than the Pokemon game. I'm assuming that's because it's better crafted. I'm not really into card games, not really at all. But I love the artwork and I love the design work that goes into them. So if I'm thinking about art and design and collectibles, Pokemon cards could be really, really good. I mean, and the last bit of rumor and hype potential is that National Pokemon Day is February 27th, 2022. We are very close to National Pokemon Day. So there is VEVE. There is this rumor about Pokemon. There is this specific day. Wouldn't it be crazy if all of a sudden the first Pokemon appears on VEVE, and you know the way VEVE does it, it would be somebody obscure or done in a way unexpected, or maybe from a Detective Pikachu from the movie, something different. Because we're waiting for the next aesthetic space on top of the next verticals that people are predicting. So that could be a lot of fun. Oh wait, let me move this up. I realize y'all can't really read that. My bad. February 27th. And plus, personally, I would love to see some Star Wars. I'm just saying, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm loving the Book of Boba Fett. Definitely check out the video where I talked about the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. It's full spoiler talk. I talk about episodes 1 through 6. So if you are just curious, check that out. It's on the channel. And let me give myself an indicator so that I can put it up there somewhere for you guys to check out the video. But yeah, this is a very popular show. There's only one more episode left. Comes out every Wednesday. 1 or 2 more episodes left. Wouldn't it be funny if on the last episode some Boba Fett figurine appeared on VEVE? People would liquidate like crazy. There'd be discounts out the wazoo. That would be a grail of grails. People love Star Wars. They love first Star Wars. I'm glad that I'm here before we got any of the big Star Wars FAs. There's no Yoda. There's no Luke. There's no Kylo Ren. There's no Rey. There's no Vader. A Vader FA? Come on now. Now, they may do like the Mighties and go Lego Star Wars because that there's that appeal, but they might do full-fledged figurines, and that would be amazing. So yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Those are basically my thoughts in regards to the AMA. I think it was a very interesting conversation. I think it was one of those things that needed to happen, as there's so many questions, there's so much speculation. And when the gym squeeze is going on, people sometimes they can feel a little bit of that pinch, and the things that you could overlook in an upward market become way more harsh and glaring, as now you're having to really kind of like play the game way more like intensely. So I can totally see that being like privy to it, but there is an issue, and it has to kind of be addressed. People want to participate in as fair a market as possible. There's always going to be deceivers, people trying to create a little deception and take what is not rightfully theirs. But I like that they're addressing the issues. I like that they're really talking with the people, that they're finding out what people care about, and they're putting in the effort. Because right now the space, I think, is spectacular. So I'm having a lot of fun in this VEVE space. I'm trying to decide which kind of pieces to go after, because I have some, there's some things that are telling me that some of the pieces are set to rise. I have a couple. I would like to try 1 or 2 of the others just to see. I think it's a wild stuff going on right now. If I get something solid, I'll definitely make a video on that and express that to you guys, because I try to be as transparent as possible, tell you just when I bought into it or right when I'm about to, so at least it's not like I'm like, hey, I did this 2 weeks ago and it's too late, or hey, you guys chest it out and then I'll watch and see what happens. It's not like that. I take action on the things that I do so that I can see the results and kind of report back, because some of the stuff is working pretty good. Some of the stuff is not. Some of the stuff is just confusing me to no end. Seeing some of the prices on some of the things and trying to train my brain to recognize when something is discounted versus when something really is just not of value. So having a lot of fun. Hope you guys are too. Of course, none of this is financial advice, but I do appreciate you stopping in. I am Alex Wilder. This is Wobble Wilder. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. It means a lot from all you guys. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.